Have you ever recorded a track that felt too sterile, too sharp, or just lacking that undeniable vibe? In the endless quest for the perfect sound, musicians often find themselves blending the modern with the vintage. And trust me, if you take a crystal clear digital recording from something like a Tascam Dp02 and mix it down to an ancient, maybe even dusty, realistic cassette recorder, the result isn't just good, it's spectacular. It's a technique that combines digital precision with analog soul, and it can give your music a unique sonic signature that no plugin can truly replicate. So why does this Frankenstein approach actually work? It all comes down to blending digital clarity with analog character. The Tascam Dp02 is a fantastic multi-tracker. It gives you up to 8 separate tracks, clean editing capabilities, and a high-fidelity foundation. It's precise, it's low noise, and it allows you to build a perfect musical structure without the limitations or inherent noise of old tape, at least, not yet. This machine gives you the best foundation possible, a blank digital canvas ready for color. But let's be honest, digital can sometimes sound a little too perfect. That's where the old realistic cassette recorder comes in. This isn't just a playback device. We're using it as an analog character machine. When you bounce that final mix from the Tascam onto that cassette deck, you introduce what we affectionately call analog mojo. It's the desirable imperfections of magnetic tape that bring life back into the music. Think about what the cassette deck actually does to the sound. First up is saturation and compression. If you intentionally push the levels slightly into the red on that cassette recorder, you induce a beautiful tape saturation. This acts like natural compression, gluing the entire mix together and making everything sound fuller and warmer. It's an organic kind of drive that sounds far better than aggressively limiting your track digitally. It sounds like rock and roll, or maybe like an unearthed demo from the 90s, and that is a truly cool aesthetic. Next, consider high-frequency roll-off. Digital can sometimes feel harsh or brittle, especially in the extreme high frequencies. Consumer-grade cassette decks, particularly older realistic models, have circuitry and physical limitations that naturally soften those extremes. They roll off the sharpest highs, resulting in a distinctly warmer, smoother texture that is instantly easier on the ears. It tames the digital edge without making the sound muddy. And then there's the noise, the inherent tape hiss. While modern audio engineering tries to eliminate noise, sometimes that subtle, characteristic tape hiss is exactly what you need. It adds a vintage, lo-fi flavor. Unless you're using a fancy noise reduction system like DBX, which, let's face it, many simple realistic decks probably lack to hit that authentic background atmosphere. It instantly creates that unearthed demo vibe, making the recording sound more intimate and real. It's an aesthetic choice, but one that is incredibly powerful for certain genres. This hybrid process isn't just about the sonic results, though. It actually improves your workflow and forces better creative decisions. If you've ever worked on a Tascam Dp02, you know it features dedicated knobs and faders. This encourages a hands-on, tactile mixing approach, just like on traditional analog boards. You're physically engaged with the music, which is already a huge plus. But the real magic of this particular technique comes from the concept of forced creativity. When you decide to bounce that mix to a stereo track on a physical cassette tape, you are finalizing your decisions. You stop the endless digital tweaking. Digital audio workstation users know the pain of spending hours micro-adjusting EQ, but when you commit to tape, those decisions are locked in. The limitations of the format actually force you to focus on the song A's overall feel and impact rather than getting lost in minutiae. Essentially, you are using the cassette deck as an external analog processor in your mastering chain. This adds a layer of character, warmth, and uniqueness that is incredibly difficult to perfectly replicate with software plugins alone. It provides an immediate signature sound, that will make your final recording stand out. So if you're sitting on a digital recording that just doesn't feel right, hunt down an old realistic cassette deck. Run that clean Dp02 mix through it, push those levels just a little, embrace the hiss, and you might just find that spectacular sound you've been looking for. This blend of new clarity and old soul is the secret weapon for getting a truly memorable mix. Give it a shot and let me know how it sounds. If you liked learning about this unique recording hack, hit that subscribe button and stick around for more unconventional music tips. Thanks for watching.